Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Chainlink. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that before watching this one. It's going to be linked in the top right-hand corner of the screen. I also want to mention the donation link that's down below in the description. Feel free to donate to the kids in Gaza. And without further ado, let's jump into the TA. So we're on the daily chart right now. You can see Chainlink has lost the 20 EMA on the daily, and we are slowly but surely starting to put in this nice corrective wave here, and hopefully we can bottom out somewhere around $10. That would be a really good area for us to print a higher low and then have a move to the upside from there, another leg up essentially. So I would start setting up some buy limit orders. The first one would be at $11.70. Then you have $10.55, then you have $9.82. And this is based on these extension levels that we had initially set up to the upside when we were back down in this block, in this sideways channel, you could say. So we set up the fib from the swing low in June 2023 to the swing high in April 2023, and we broke out and we ran into the 1.618, which was our initial target. So that was a really good area to take profits if you were looking to get out of Chainlink. And of course, we continued rallying and we ran into the 2.272 and the 2.414 at $17.50. So those were really good buying opportunities, really good selling opportunities, I should say, as well, based on this Fibonacci retracement. So you had an incredible opportunity to dollar cost average into Chainlink throughout these 500 days that we were in this sideways channel, and we warned everyone about this breakout here. We said that when you're in a sideways channel for this extended period of time, when you start breaking out, you typically have a very strong move. We saw this earlier with Bitcoin Cash, and the same happened with Chainlink. Now, if you're asking yourself, are we going to come back down and retest the top of this sideways channel and have a bounce from there? Of course, it is possible, but I wouldn't be so sure that that is going to happen. If the ETFs get approved and we get a move to the upside on Bitcoin, then of course altcoins will follow soon after. And I just don't know if a dip that deep would be possible for Chainlink. A 50% drop, it's not out of the question, of course, but I'm just saying don't expect this 100%. So $8.50 would be an amazing entry point. If you didn't buy in this sideways range and you still managed to buy at $8.50, consider yourself very fortunate if you are given that opportunity. So feel free to set up some buy limit orders at $8.56. In case we do get a wick down, a quick little wick and then a retracement back up, you can get filled at those prices, and then you're already going to be in profit if we have a flash crash, because those wicks don't really last for long. So anything below $10 is, again, a great price to enter at, but $8.50 is specifically a level that we could retest, like I said, if we have a deeper correction, because this is historically a very, very strong resistance level that we've held since 2022, since August. And retesting that would just reaffirm the fact that we have printed the bear market bottom, and essentially this is going to be our new massive support level. And looking at the RSI here on the daily chart, you can see we are trying to get back down to the oversold. The last time we were oversold was back in August 2023 and then in June 2023. And both times were a really, really good signal. Like both of these lows here was a really good signal to buy, because if you take a look at the price action, we actually bottomed out in June 2023 and then we printed a higher low in August 2023. So if we do indeed print a low below the index of 30 here on the RSI, that is going to be a nice sign for you to start averaging in, because whenever we get below the index of 30, that means the asset is oversold on the daily chart. But I wouldn't necessarily use this for long-term trading, because if you're buying for the long term, you should be using the weekly chart, to be honest with you. So let's switch over to the weekly. And before we continue with the video, I quickly want to mention my Patreon that's linked down below in the description. If you enjoy my content, you want to get more exclusive content, and you want to support me at the same time, definitely feel free to check out the Patreon, because you're going to get a 7-day free access on my Patreon and an instant access to all of my content since October 2021, which is when I started. You'll get access to content like exclusive weekly podcasts, and we're starting to invite guests already. We have 40 plus low cap gem posts. We have a bunch of project reviews. We have a bunch of resources that are going to help you save time and make more money with this upcoming bull market. So this is definitely a great exchange of value for the both of us. And once again, there's a 7-day free trial. Feel free to check it out. You can leave anytime, and let's continue with the video. All right, taking a look at Chainlink on the weekly, you can see we're still above the 0.236. We did set up a Fibonacci retracement here to the downside. And as you can see, we haven't even broken below the 0.236. And unless that happens, we can't really say that this fib is going to be, we can't really use a fib that still has the 0.236. And until we break below it, we're going to assume that we're just going to be bouncing off the 20 EMA here. Once we break above the 0.236 here, then we can apply the fib and take a look at all of these retracement levels down below. But until that happens, you know, this fib is not valid as of right now. Another thing you can do is pull up the 55 EMA, which is the red line on the chart, and target that, because there is quite a bit of a gap between the 20 and the 55. And whenever there is a gap, usually we come down below the 20, at least briefly, and then we have the EMAs come together, and then the price continues rallying from there, because the closer the EMAs are together, the better it is for a healthy uptrend. As you can see, the EMAs were very close here, and then we managed to, you know, start breaking out, and then the 20 got way ahead of the 55. Now the 55 did have a cross with the 200 here, and that was a really good sign. This is a really good sign of a bull market. We have the 20 crossing the 55 and the 200, and the 55 just crossed the 200. So things are looking bullish for Chainlink. So target the 55 EMA, which is approximately $10. Like I said, we can wick off of that real quick and then have a bounce to the upside. You can also see we have an ascending trend line here. So this teal trend line is something that we were bouncing off of back in June and in September 2023. And if we have another retracement, a flash crash, whatever, you can target that teal trend line just in case. But again, no promises. I'm not saying we're going to bounce off of it. This is just another trend line you can have on your chart in case you do see a pullback and you open up the chart and the price is just hovering above the teal trend line. You'll know that that is a really good entry point, because the last 2 times we had bounces off of that teal trend line. Now let's take a look at the RSI here and see what's going on. So we're back in this area here that I said we would probably retest before having another move to the upside. You can see we also have the yellow trend line as well that we've been bouncing off of quite a few times since June 2022. So that also is going to be a nice level to look at on the RSI. Of course, we can just bottom out in this blue block and then have another move to the upside, because this was our resistance for, you know, for more than a year, from August 2021 actually to October 2023. So 2 years of resistance, and then we finally break above it, and now we come back to it as support. We could have another move to the upside from there without any issues whatsoever. If we do drop below the yellow trend line, that's great for all of us, because we get to buy cheaper prices. If you're hoping, you know, to long or do a futures trade or just a quick little trade, I would be careful doing that at the moment, especially before the ETF announcements. It's going to get very volatile. So I would say if you're buying for the long term, look at the levels I gave you. If you're buying for a short term trade, just wait until we pull back. And once we are bottoming out on the daily chart, for example, and you see that you know, we're kind of accumulating for another move to the upside, then you can enter with an exit plan ready and set to go. The stochastic is also trying to trying to get back down here. So look at the index of 20. That would be a nice area for you to grab more tokens at. And the MACD is about to print a bearish cross. The last time that happened was briefly here in August last year, and before that in May 2023. And if we go back historically looking at those periods during these crosses, you can see that during the first cross, that essentially signaled the bottom there soon after. And the same thing happened here in August. That was a nice signal for the local bottom. Now, is that going to be the case here? We don't know, because back then the stochastic and the RSI were sitting relatively low. This time around, they're actually dropping down from overbought. So we don't know if this will actually be the signal for a bottoming out. But then again, we're close to the 20 EMA. If we just bounce off of the 20 and we get the bearish cross now, that's your essentially confirmation of the local bottom at, around $12. So I'm just letting you know that that's a possible outcome. Now, we did start getting a bunch of volume coming in. The volume is looking very good for Chainlink here, and I'm bullish on the project long term. And for those of you who still don't have any Chainlink, once again, the next big crash that we'll have is probably going to be your last chance to enter before we get to the bull market. So let me know, what is your average buying price? Let me know what are your targets to the upside. We're going to be looking at $100 minimum Chainlink token for 2025. And that should be it for this video. Stay safe and goodbye.